God!
A kick out!
What the hell is this? Oh, God!
Oh, my! Push! Canceler!
Unbelievable!
Has been an absolutely brutal display.
Oh, my God!
That was freaking insane!
Make yourself famous!
Talk about a high-risk maneuver.
What?
The new champion!
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the UCT Live podcast hosted by the one and only the Wickman Max Mercury. So first I'm just going to recap the announcement from the last episode where going forward I will be hosting these podcast episodes solo and sometimes joined by a special guest because Drake Stacy is currently on a leave of absence for personal reasons. Yes, the last time I'm gonna say that. So for today's episode, I'm already watching. Today's episode, we are covering Cgw, the 50 subscriber special. So this event kind of came out of the blue because Crazy Boy hit 50 subscribers on the YouTube channel, and I got to applaud him for that. And so, so this channel came into existence, and it also helps build towards the Royal Rumble. So that's a plus for everybody. So we're just gonna get straight into the show. So let me see. Okay, here we go. So the show starts out with Mr. Matheson. I think that's how you say it. He comes out to give his thanks to the crowd and the audience for the 50 subscribers, and announces that WrestleMania will be performed over 2 nights. He also announced the implementation of pre-show matches for all Big Four CPVs, such as the Rumble, Mania, Survivor Series, and SummerSlam. Crazy Boy then comes out to basically disrespect Mr. Madison and the announcement regarding pre-show matches, and Crazy Boy would then just threaten Mr. Madison while reminding the audience how he ended John Silver's career, and which kind of acknowledges the fact that John Silva has been released by CGW. The two then have a back and forth exchange with one another, with Crazy Boy refusing to explain the actions of the Crazy Asylum. Mr. Madsen would schedule a rematch between Satan's Sons and the Crazy Asylum for the tag titles at the Rumble, where the rest of the Crazy Asylum is banned from ringside. Mr. Madsen would then finish the segment with a threat of his own as he stiffs Crazy Boy with his shoulder. I thought this was a nice first segment, very sweet for Mr. Madsen to come out and then, basically give his gratitude to everyone for watching. And, but yeah, and, Crazy Boy coming out, continuing to be his very dick self. But it's good to see that Mr. Madsen was able to put him in check, because Crazy Boy is not in power when it comes to CGW, He may be world champion, but he doesn't have all the power. Moving on, we have a tag team match between the tag team champions, the Crazy Asylum, represented by Big Brawler and Money Money, versus former tag team champions, the Priestess Tables. The Satan's Sons would cut a promo after the match in which the Crazy Asylum would defeat the Priestess Tables, stating that the Satan's Sons will unleash Hell's fury upon them at the Rumble and that they will reclaim their titles. Thought it was a good match. Very clean. I've noticed something about the finishers that I've throughout the entire show. Sorry, I blanked for a second. But basically, what I noticed in this match and other matches on the shows is that the finishers have finally been reduced. Very fewer finishers are being hit, and those finishers usually finish the match. So I'll give you applause for that. But yeah, that's about it. So moving on to the next segment, you have Rob Andrews backstage cutting a promo over why he betrayed Richard Thompson. He stated that he felt Thompson never gave him the respect that he should have had, and that Richard Thompson didn't believe that Andrews had the potential to be CGW champion whilst on his road to facing Alias at SummerSlam. Rob Andrews said that then it was his plan to basically join Team Raw and make sure that the team lost, so that Thompson would be fired. And at the end of the promo, Rob Andrews would then declare his entry to the Rumble match. I will say I'm glad to get some reasoning for why he screwed over Richard Thompson, and it makes sense. Rob Andrews declaring his entry for the Rumble. I will say he is definitely a top pick. I could see him like become a little more heelish, and then maybe you could face Silver Star at Mania, and then finally win the belt. I say good work on you for building up intrigue. Next, we have Alberto Almas with his manager Sarita Ivy as he defeats Carlos Bartoli in a good match. Wasn't really any story, but it was good to see these guys featured on the show because I feel like over the past couple CPVs, a lot of like minor CGW originals have not been featured as much, so it's good to see these guys in action. After that, we have a rematch for the Cgw Global Championship as Jason Ramirez successfully defends his title against Damian Bateman. I'll say this is probably like, it's just as good as their previous encounters, and hope to see new challengers for the belt going forward. As is with the track record of the title, maybe Damian Bateman could rise up the card as oh, sorry, there's like a bug in my room. But yeah, maybe Damian will move up to the West Side division like Chris. Well, we'll see. After this, Sarah McAllister, I don't know how to say it. She interviews Mike House backstage about his upcoming #1 contenders match against Mario Sanchez, with the winner will face off against Crazy Boy. Mike House basically comments that, with all due respect, he should be the one to face Crazy Boy instead of Mario, since Mario had already failed twice to take the belt off of him. And then he says that Crazy Boy has an ass whooping prepared for him if Mike does win. After this, we have Cgw Women's Champion Ashley Reeves comes out to cut a promo to revel in her successful plan to cash in at TLC, and says she is the best women's wrestler in the UCT. To paraphrase a little bit. After that, Serpent would come out to say, she was basically robbed at TLC. She basically was going to win the title, but then, Ashley came out and changed that and basically wants first dibs at the title shot. Ashley basically denies her demands, saying that no one wants to see Serpent as CGW Women's Champion ever again. And then Jenna would come out and basically put her name into the conversation for a title shot, to which all 3 women bicker and until General Manager Thomas Hayes shows up on Titan Stream saying enough is enough and announces a triple threat match between all 3 for the women's title at the Royal Rumble. After that, all 3 women would then brawl for a bit, with Ashley Reeves standing on top. I will say I kind of predicted this when me and Drake Stacey covered TLC. I will say this is the natural next step in this program, and I think this will be like whoever doesn't win this match, I think they're going to be out of the title picture for a bit, and maybe whoever wins the Rumble will actually be like the next big challenger for the champion, who I think will probably most likely be Ashley Reeves. But yeah, all good so far. I love it. Next, we have a 6-man tag match between the new CGW Intercontinental Champion Ron teaming up with Destructo and Angel Alexander against Jacob Cass, Chaotic Ian, and Shane Roberts. Ron gets the win for his team by pinning Cass once again. I will say with this victory, it makes me think that maybe Cass will not get an IC title shot, considering he just got pinned. It seems as though he just got pinned by Ron. I don't think he'll get a rematch. And with a later announcement, I feel like it's even more so. But we'll see. But it was a solid match, getting more screen time for guys like Destructo and Chaotic Ian. But yeah. Moving on, we have a non-title match between Cgw United States Champion Chris Azure versus a returning Cgw Original. This Cgw Original turned out to be Wesley Cross. This was actually a pretty good match. I'd say this was very underrated for me. It wasn't the best match on the night, obviously, but I think it's definitely up there in top 5 for sure. But yeah, it was a good match. Lewis Mythical will then cut a promo on the Titantron where he basically said he will be activating his rematch clause for the Royal Rumble. and he will be the first three-time United States champion. I just want to point out, if it looks like I'm not looking at the camera, it's because I'm looking at my script. Because, I thought I should be a little more prepared for episodes that I'm doing solo, Eventually, I'll just keep looking at the camera sometimes. Next, we have a rematch for the Cgw Hardcore Championship, which it is a 2 out of 3 falls hardcore rules match between the champion Cam Jones versus Joshi P. Thought this was a good match, It was very neck and neck all throughout, a lot of violence. And in the end, Joshi P won back the title, which very much surprised me, and I bet a lot of people too. And then after the match, Cam would attack Joshi to show that things are not over quite yet. So I will say, I'm typically not a fan of these like very fast title changes back and forth. But if it's all to serve a story, I'm okay with it because, it's not title changes for the sake of title changes. There's a story going on here. And it's now progressing to be an actual feud. So 2 thumbs up there. Before the main event, Mr. Manson would make an announcement regarding the confirmed entrants for the Royal Rumble matches. So for the Women's Rumble, we have Sarah Atheist, Laura Kentis, Rachel Matthews, Cassie Lopez, and Taylor Rose, and Sarita Ivy. And then for the Men's Rumble, we have Alias, Ron, Antho, Destructo, Leo Sampson, Tremor, Nightmare Kid, Wesley Cross, and Death Road. I say out of both Rumbles, my picks, the picks who I think would have the best chances out of these confirmed names, I think goes to Sarah Atheist, and this is tough. I'd say probably Ron, to be honest, out of the confirmed names so far, including the Dark Storm and Rob Andrews. Well, actually, maybe not including Rob Andrews, but just of these newly confirmed names, I would say Ron and Sarah Atheist have the best chances to win the match, but we'll see. Moving on, we have basically the main event match, which is Mike House versus Mario Sanchez in a #1 contenders match. The winner will face Crazy Boy for the Cgw World title at the Royal Rumble. I said this was the only match in which there was multiple finishers, but I'm kind of okay with it considering the star power. So Mike House defeats Mario Sanchez after like using 2 tombstones and 2 Wrath of the Gods. Mario used 3 AAs in this match, but like at this point, even in real life, like it takes multiple AAs for like Cena to beat somebody, and for Mario to kick out of the Wrath of the Gods and the Tombstone, that's fine. Mario is a top level car wrestler, so it's not unbelievable to think that he would kick out. So and yeah, I would say this is the best match of the night. I'm very excited for Mike House versus Crazy Boy. Do I think Crazy Boy will lose the title? Maybe. Like, there's a small part of me that thinks that maybe we'll just get Crazy Boy versus Mr. Madsen at WrestleMania, where if Crazy Boy wins, he gets power of the company. It could happen. Or maybe Crazy Boy will just enter WrestleMania as champion. Either scenario is good for me. I wonder if my suggestion now will influence the booking decisions going forward. Who knows? And then we end the show with the contract signing for Silver Star versus Johnny Extreme for the Cgw title at the Royal Rumble. We have General Manager Thomas Hayes to kind of act as a mediator. Johnny would speak first, saying how he's kind of just relishing in the fact that he's finally getting his deserved 1v1 title shot at the Royal Rumble, in which Silver kind of retorts that Johnny was only given a title shot because he was crying about its management, and that he's kind of become a has-been who just complains all the time instead of being the ace who was a 2-time back-to-back wrestler of the year. In which, he's kind of spitting some facts, not gonna lie. The two would brawl for a bit with Silver Star standing on top to close the show. I thought this was a great show, to be honest, and it was a great build for the Rumble. It's very much leaving me excited to watch the show, and notwithstanding the fact that I just love Rumble matches, even though the 2022 WWE Royal Rumble was kind of disappointing, I do not think the same for this. I think this Rumble is going to be amazing because Crazy Boy puts a lot of thought into these videos, and I'm very much looking forward to it. So thank you for watching, everyone. Leave your comments leave comments below. I always struggle with that line, but yeah, leave your comments below. Follow our Twitter. Subscribe to the UCT Extra YouTube channel if you haven't, and I guess I'll see you guys next episode. Like I say, I'm not used to doing closers for this channel yet, but hopefully I improve. So I will see you guys next time. Bye. Breaking news, everyone. I just finished recording the, the rest of the video you just saw, but I have some news from Crazy Boy himself about the Royal Rumble coming up. So, sorry if I'm being a little awkward because I'm new to this since Drake is not here to do it. But here are some announcements for CGW Royal Rumble. So there will be a Generation 4 talent that will be appearing in the Women's Royal Rumble match. However, the identity of this Gen 4 talent is currently unknown. Second announcement, an MWE superstar will make a surprise appearance in the Men's Royal Rumble match. His identity is unknown at the moment, but if I was to make a guess, I'd say probably Scorpion, because I know Darkstorm really wants him to get points this year. Announcement number 3, Chris Azure versus Lewis Mythical will be taking place on the pre-show for the United States Championship. Announcement number 4, there's 17 out of the 20 confirmed participants for the Women's Royal Rumble match, and 28 out of 30 confirmed participants for the Men's Royal Rumble match. This is in addition to the confirmed entrants mentioned on the CGW 50 subscriber special. But the rest of those superstars are currently unknown. And announcement number 5, the last spots in the men's and women's Royal Rumble matches are open to anyone in the UCT. So there you go. Those are all these breaking news announcements that I'll be adding in addition to the rest of the video. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.